it isn't that it's just your turn and she's not yours. It's that you belong to each other. Hey guys, Hector Castillo-Papi from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk about the concept of she's not yours, it's just your turn. Now, if you spend time watching red pill videos, you've heard this term a lot. Guys will say it as a way for you to not get so attached and to believe that a girlfriend is yours forever or a wife is yours forever because there are breakups, cheating, infidelity, divorce, lies, deceit. And in order to keep you from buying into that false dream, they give this phrase, and it's very catchy. It's a nice phrase. She's not yours, it's just your turn. It is a little bit incomplete, however, and so I want to delve more into it and see beyond just the catchphrase. Now, it is useful for some guys because they believe in the Disney fantasy that, who sold it to them, specifically movies, their mother, their father, their friends, society. They got this idea. We've all had it as men, and probably women watching this. You've had this notion that I want to fall in love and live happily ever after, and my boyfriend's never going to cheat on me. He's always going to be nice and respectful and da-da-da. So we have this concept somehow believed or fed to us that we need to fight against. And so you have this phrase. But it is coming from a false presupposition. Because when I first saw it, I was like, well, why did you even think in the first place that someone would be yours? And I'm coming from that criticism from the philosophical angle of, okay, well, how do you own anything to a certain extent, right? Like, you don't even own this body. You're just renting it, right? Even if there's a next life, you're definitely not taking this body with you. So if you don't even own yourself and your mind and your emotions, and they're all fleeting, then how could you even come close to owning another person, right? But there is something that is wrong about the notion that they're not really yours. It is correct philosophically, and definitely the optics of this is how can you own anyone, and patriarchy and all that shit. Like, I know that just the idea itself is going to be really disgusting to some people. But to a certain extent, I do think it is wrong. Because, it may seem trivial, but on a sexual level, girls do, in my experience, most of them, right? Not all of them. You always have to give that fucking footnote, right? 99% of them, right? When you're in bed, like, most girls like to be submissive, and most girls like for you to just fucking control the shit out of them and dominate them. And they want to feel owned. It's even in our dirty talk language, like, my little slut, right? You're mine. And girls love it. They're drawn into this feeling of being owned by you. And when you get into, deeper stuff of BDSM and you're putting them on collars, or you're buying them like little anklets or necklaces with, your name on it, and they're owned by you. And, I know that you might think not every girl is into that, but I would venture to say that the vast majority of girls are really into the idea of being owned by you sexually and being handcuffed and controlled. To that degree, I would say, well, they do want to be owned, right? But then you say, okay, well, that's just, that's girls who degrade themselves and they have no self-respect, or, okay, that's only in bed, if you don't think that they're bad just for wanting some dirty sex. Okay, it's only in bed. Well, yes, but also no. I think that when it comes to a relationship, they want the ownership to feel both ways. They want to feel like they own your heart and that they have a special place in your heart. Maybe it's the language of, I'm owning you, right? That is the problem. But when you are in a deep relationship with someone, you have a certain amount of time and emotions to give. And if someone is very, very close to you and they do take up a certain amount of time and emotions in your life, they do, to a certain extent, have ownership over part of you. Not to the extent where they control your essence, and that's when you go too far. That's when you get into the territory where saying you own someone is just degrading. But they do own a little part of you. And so when you have a girlfriend, someone who's like a life partner or a wife, or if you're a girl, a husband and a boyfriend, someone who's probably the closest person to you, even closer than your parents or your family, because they're seeing another side that no one else sees, which is your romantic side and your sexual side. They're gonna own a part of you, and you're gonna own a part of them. It's gonna be a mutual ownership. And so it is a little bit correct to say that you guys own each other, or you have some possession over each other. And it can be unhealthy, right, to any extent. If we bring that analysis of any attachment whatsoever is unhealthy, which I think is kind of what the phrase comes from, to never be attached to anything. And that's good. That's, that would be a very Buddhist mindset. Unfortunately, they don't take it far enough. They try to play this game where we're not gonna be attached, but then we're gonna still chase it and spend time with it. If you're dealing with any sorts of pleasure and actively longing for it, well, you're gonna be attached to it, right? So if you truly wanna be unattached, then you need to give up almost everything. So you are going to be attached to each other. It's an inevitability. Inevitability. Just like it's gonna be inevitable that I'm gonna fuck up a word, stutter. And that is gonna cause pain because the nature of attachment is suffering, but also pleasure. So if you are not gonna be a monk and go in the woods and give everything up, you need to accept that if you're going to have a girlfriend and you're gonna have a wife, which some of them would say, well, just don't even do that. Okay, well, that's another discussion. But if you're gonna have a girlfriend, a partner, or a wife, you're gonna be attached to some extent. So she is gonna be yours. If you're doing a good job, you need to earn her ownership, right? If she is gonna be your little slut and be owned by you sexually in a traditional heterosexual dom-sub kind of relationship, which I think all heterosexual relationships usually tend towards if they're healthy. But if you're in that type of relationship, you're going to have some ownership, but it's earned. You're gonna earn her submission and her dutifulness and her loyalty and her faithfulness. And she's gonna own or earn some of your emotion and some of your love and trustworthiness and loyalty and fidelity. And you both share in different ways ownership, because there are male energies and there's female energies. So you two are gonna desire different things out of each other. You're not gonna want the same things, because if you did, you would be the same, and we definitely have different natures. So we're earning each other's power and we're sharing power with each other. We're still gonna be attached to some extent, and if you don't wanna be attached, then you have to give it up. So it isn't that it's just your turn and she's not yours. It's that you belong to each other. You can belong to each other and still have your independence, because this is where some guys in the red pill community are going to get really pissed, and they're gonna say, okay, well, this is beta, this is blue pill, this is gay, this is whatever. You can have a girlfriend or a marriage and still be independent to the extent where your existence is not going to be destroyed by losing them or by having trouble with them. Some of the greatest men in history were married. I mean, sometimes they had multiple wives, right? But great generals, conquerors, politicians, philosophers, artists. There have been many great and strong and alpha men who've had wives and had long-term partners. And I don't think that women worthy of marriage and who are gonna give you loyalty and be a good partner, I don't think they're outdated. I think they still exist. I think you could make an argument that, well, I would make an argument that they've pretty much always been the same percentage of women. I think shitty people have always existed, at least in recent history. So I don't think that you can totally throw the idea away that she could be yours or you can be hers. I think it should be seen as a mutual ownership. And I think this is the highest level of seeing it, because, okay, you go from, oh, she's not yours, it's just your turn, and you shouldn't, ever get attached to her, and you shouldn't expect anything from her. Okay, I get why you feel that way, and it's good for some men to think that way for a while, but let's level up to the next level. You learn how to seduce women, you learn how to earn their loyalty and affection, because you're a high value man who knows how to seduce, how to fuck, how to let go, but also how to screen for women who have good qualities and who are gonna be loyal and who are gonna be cool. Okay, so you found that, you know how to have that. Then your mentality is, well, I'm the prize, right? It's her turn with me. She's not she's not mine, but it's her turn with me. She's not yours, but it's her turn with you. That's another way to think of it, right? And that's a way that my mentor Chase, on an article that kind of inspired this video, because he was reacting to the same idea of she's not yours, it's just your turn, where he says, well, it's her turn with me. And that's great. I think that's a really good way to see it. What I then want to do is I want to take those two ideas and combine them. And I want you to see it as a cooperative effort where you two are owning each other. Because if you're going to have a high value girl as a girlfriend or a wife, you're going to be having to put effort. I mean, if you don't put any effort, a high value woman is not going to stick around for long. She might for a little bit because she's just enthralled by how not give a fuck you are and how, you know, carefree you are and how alpha you are and all that shit. Yeah, she might be initially attractive, but she's not going to stick around if she has any sort of self-respect. I mean, she wants to be owned by you and she wants you to be dominant and wants you to be poppy or daddy. But she also needs to be getting something out of the deal. I mean, she's not stupid, right? She needs to be feeling like it's worth sticking around and giving him X and Y, whatever it is that he wants from her, because you're giving her Z and X, right? So change your mind from you being the prize or her being the prize, and instead see each other as the prize, and that you're both putting in and taking what you need and you want from the relationship. And you'll start to see seductions and relationships much more healthy and much less combative and much less like you're gonna run in and take as much as you can with giving as little as possible back. Because while it will work out in some cases, and it's definitely better than being the idealistic blue pill, beta, cuck loser, whatever, it's not the highest level. That anger phase where you start to wake up to the reality of women, it's not the full reality. You need to go beyond it into the realm of understanding and loving, while still being detached and understanding of female nature and also your own nature. And when you understand that human nature, you're gonna have much more healthy relationships. So it's not that she's not yours or you're not hers or it's just your turn, it's just her turn. It's that you guys are taking a turn right now for however long you're gonna be together, when you're both satisfying each other's desires. And then when you're no longer satisfying each other or you're not feeling satisfied, you'll leave. It'll be hard and you'll be heartbroken, but you'll be able to let go. So, yeah. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Instagram. I'll see you soon. Ciao.